Right. Hello to everyone who's just joined us now. We're going to get going shortly at 5 past. And welcome all to our event with Entrepreneurial Scotland. Today, our old committee vice president, Jasmeen Hayer, will be leading the event. Jasmeen, do you want to introduce yourself quickly?
Of course. Thanks, Thomas. So my name is Jasmeen, and I am a fifth year chemical engineering student, and I'm 2021 Saltire Scholar as well. And I'm looking forward to sharing my experience in the presentation today.
Super exciting. No, thank you so much for putting this event together. So we'll get going shortly. I'll just introduce myself quickly. For those who don't know me, my name is Thomas. I'm the president of the society this year. And a little bit more about EntSoc. We're about 150 members every year. We run about 60 events throughout the year, events such as this, and also from CEOs and much larger companies, and also run a bunch of workshops throughout, focused mainly around entrepreneurship, but also around the soft skills around leading a company or gaining valuable insights from programs such as this. So if you're joining us now, welcome. And if you want to stay on the call afterwards, we're going to do a brief introduction to SEN with about 7 other Scottish universities who hopefully will be joining us on the call. But without any further ado, Jasmeen, do you want to get started and take it away?
Yeah, of course. Thanks, Thomas. So welcome, everyone. Like I introduced myself, my name is Jasmeen, and I am a fifth year chemical engineering student. In today's session, I'll talk about Entrepreneurial Scotland Foundation and Saltire program internships specifically, along with my peer scholars who'll be talking about their experiences as well later in the session. So today's agenda will be the introduction of Entrepreneurial Scotland and its vision, application procedure for the Saltire Scholar Program, and my peer scholars, Lily Hamilton, Yasmin, Joanna, Katherine, will talk about their internship experience and tips. Fiona Hardy who's the human resource manager for the application procedure, was going to join us, but unfortunately she couldn't due to some last minute changes. But she's very happy to take questions from all of you guys. So I'll put her email address at towards the end in the chat box. So please feel free to reach out to her if you have any questions regarding the application procedure. So what is Entrepreneurial Scotland Foundation, and what's the vision of the foundation itself? So Entrepreneurial Scotland is a community of current and future entrepreneurial leaders worldwide who are ambitious, globally minded, and have the potential to be the next generation of entrepreneurial leaders who contribute to the Scotland's success. So the vision of the foundation is to inspire and develop Scotland's people to build the most entrepreneurial society in the world. And it is independently funded organization, which allows the foundation to have freedom to collaborate with world-class partners in Scotland and internationally. So in order to achieve its vision, Entrepreneurial Scotland have various programs for businesses and students. In today's session, we will be specifically talking about Saltire internship programs, which are open to the penultimate year students. So Saltire programs are funded and nurtured by the Global Scotland Network in 2007, and the program was created to find, fuel, and spark the next generation of leaders in Scotland. So the main objective of the visionary group was to deliver internships that would provide students with increased confidence and ambition, a global perspective, the opportunity to network with like-minded individuals, and the awareness of transferable skills, and to have the entrepreneurial mindset. And I would definitely think that the Saltire programs are capable of achieving all these set objectives, having been gone through the program itself. I interned at one of the company based in Canada, so it gave me a global perspective of how things operate in different international settings. Along with it, I had the opportunity to network with the key stakeholders of the company, which helped me to increase my confidence and ambition regarding my career and helped me to improve my transferable skills. Along with that, if you are a successful candidate, you are given access to the alumni of a lifetime alumni scholar and network. So that way you can keep in touch with all the scholars and have the opportunity to connect with like-minded individuals. And definitely the program helps to enhance one's entrepreneurial mindset. So I would definitely recommend everybody to have a look through the Saltire programs if they are willing to achieve these set targets. So if we move further, so Saltire's internships usually happen over the period, like summer period, across 8 to 12 weeks with global and entrepreneurial companies. So you can either work for like a globally global company or a startup. It just merely dependent on the candidate pool, which we'll discuss in later in part of the session. So like it's a unique opportunity to work for the global companies, but also there are some opportunities where you can work for the startups. So it's entirely up to you what sort of companies you think is that you want to connect with at this stage of your career, and then you can start thinking of applying to that companies specifically. And over the internship period, all the internship programs are fully funded, and you are paid up to the living wage of Scotland. And through the experience, scholar gain obviously the global perspective. So one of my peer scholar, Abigail, said, quote, "Becoming a Saltire scholar is an amazing opportunity to push boundaries and apply the skills within a new context." And I would definitely echo that. And also one of my other peer, Oluwasian, mentioned, quote, "I felt myself becoming more resourceful, confident, and innovative when solving problems and completing tasks. These are the skills that I believe will be beneficial as I move into final year at university and continue to progress in my professional career." So till now, over 15,000 students have gained Saltire internships since 2007, and over 370 companies have hosted Saltire Scholars across 32 countries globally. And in the survey of 2021, Saltire Scholars said that 91% definitely think that their confidence in their leadership abilities improved significantly as the result of their internship. So it is really a fantastic opportunity to develop the leadership skills, global mindset, and entrepreneurial thinking. So now we'll talk about the application procedure itself. So the application went live on 13th of October, and the deadline for the application is 10th of November. So the application is purely a competency-based question. At no stage of the application, it asks about somebody's grades. It's purely competency-based questions. And once you log on and complete your personal information on the application, then you are linked to, you're directed to go into a link where you have to answer about 10 questions, which are purely competency-based questions. I would recommend everybody to go to reach out to the careers consultants to have any help that you want in order to complete the application properly. And the other advice at this stage I'll give is to use the STAR technique, which is situation, tasks, action, and results. I honestly formatted all of my answers using this technique, and I think it is one of the professional technique to answer any competency-based question. So please, please do that. And also, no experience is a little experience. Any experience that you can draw from your part-time job, societies and all the volunteering work that you've done up until now is very valuable for your application. So please draw all the experiences from different sectors of your life to make your application stand out. Now I'll hand over to Katherine. She'll talk about speed interviews.
Yes, hi everyone. So if you're successful with your online application, you'll have the opportunity to go through to the speed interviews. Pre-COVID, these were held in person, but I think they are still going to be held virtual for the 2022 cohort. So in the speed interview, you'll have one interview with a Saltire Scholar brand ambassador, so someone like ourselves, and then one interview with a Saltire alumni. The speed interview will be based on competency-based questions and motivational questions. So it'll be an opportunity to really showcase your skill set, but also to show why you should be a Saltire Scholar and why you want to be a Saltire Scholar. So my advice for this section would be to make sure you do your research on the Saltire programmes and on Entrepreneurial Scotland and what their mission is and what their key values are. It's really important that you really show your passion for Scotland and why you want to help build up this entrepreneurial community. Again, as Jasmeen said, when answering your competency-based questions, you should try and use the STAR model, so situation, task, action, and response. It just makes it a lot clearer and easier to show your skills. And I'll now pass over to Yasmin, who will speak about the next step.
Yeah, so if you've successfully made it through these speed interviews, you'll then be entered into the candidate pool. So it's at this stage where you actually have access to all of the internships that are available for us. Even if you've made it to this stage, it's still very competitive, so you still have to put in a lot of time into this part of the application. But as you can see from the slide, from January to May of next year, you'll be given access to lists of internships. So I think a list comes out every 2 to 3 weeks. And for each list, you can apply to 3 internships. So you can pick 3 and order them based on your own preference. And it's your job to go and research each individual company and to tailor your CV and cover letter for each company that you're applying to. So it's just your cover letter and your CV that you send off, and then you'll move on to the next stage, which Lily will now go through.
Thank you, Yasmin. So yeah, as she said, tailoring your CV and your cover letter, that's definitely the main thing. Once you're past that stage, you'll be put through, if you're selected, the host will select 3 to 4 candidates, and then you will go for an interview with them. And that varies a lot from company to company. Huge companies may hold lots of wants and have a lot more experience, whereas smaller companies might be maybe a bit more informal interviews. The key here is to do your research about your company. Obviously that's a given, but do your research about a company, be yourself, and don't panic. They are usually very helpful and things like that. So I'll pass you over to Joanna, who will talk about the last part.
Thank you. So once you're accepted as a scholar and you have your internship lined up, Saltire offer a lot of pre-internship support to prepare you. So firstly, you have induction sessions with a group of other scholars. This gives you the chance to ask any final questions and get all the important information, and also to network with some of your peers. What was really useful in this stage was I was split into a group of people who were also working with companies in the US and Canada. So we could network with each other and compare notes. And so that was really useful. There's also a leadership day, which is packed full of keynote speakers, workshops, and chances to network with Saltire alumni. And then when you actually start the internship, the experience will obviously vary from host company to company, but this is normally done with a formal contract for each scholar, and this is mostly full-time hours across the 8 to 12 weeks.
Fantastic. Thank you. And Lily?
Oh, yeah. Okay, so I can talk a bit about my experience. So I'm a fourth year biomed student here at Edinburgh, and I internshiped for GSK this year. The way their sort of application was, I sort of tailored my CV and stuff to them, and then they take a couple of weeks, get back to you, had an interview, etc. And it was actually a really positive experience. And it was for their vaccine supply chain team, which is based in Belgium, but obviously due to circumstances was online this year. But I still worked with the Belgium team. It was all online. And I focused mainly in their vaccine packaging department, which had this whole supply chain, teams and teams you wouldn't even expect. I didn't know half of them existed, to be honest. And I was focusing on improving the efficiency of that supply chain. So as we can see with the COVID vaccine, it was released in a year, you know, it can really be cut down. So I had two projects based on that. One was looking at future projects, designing a large scale calendar, which basically meant that government and regulatory people and stakeholders could input when they wanted to make changes on shelf lives and barcodes and anything that goes on packaging, basically. So we could see our orders way in the future and plan for them. And then the other one was to monitor certain aspects of the supply chain to basically allow us to create databases which we could then sort of see, okay, this is our busy period, this is our not busy period, you know, that sort of stuff. But my project ended up only taking up 60 to 70% of my time, which meant I had a lot of time for networking. The company is huge, big pharmaceutical company. So I got to meet with so many other departments. They have like a networking, social networking platform themselves. Got to reach out to a load of people. I ended up talking to Claire Lund, who is vice president of their sustainability unit, which was really interesting. That was kind of the area I hope to go down. So yeah, I got to chat to loads of different departments, gain loads of insight, loads of tips. I just got to see how people sort of did their career journeys within GSK and stuff. So it was really interesting. And then at the end, because GSK is such a big company, I think there were 18 of us that were interning with them that year. We all got to meet at the end for 1 week and did sort of a leadership week, which is where I met everyone. Everyone was so lovely. And I would definitely say the biggest thing I got out of it was a confidence boost. Like, I know a lot more about how a global business works, and I would feel so much more comfortable going into any sort of business setting, knowing how meetings run, knowing how it all works, basically, and have more confidence in myself that I can do tasks that are set by me, because it can definitely come across as intimidating at first. My tips, this is mainly for like the application process, like the first bit. Give yourself time with those questions that you get set, you know, have a look at them, think about how you want to do your answers, maybe write some, come back to some, don't do it all in sort of the last minute. Go outside of that box. So it's kind of cliche, but think about what you want to say. Is it different? Is it, you know, it's kind of ironic because it's a cliche experience, but not cliche tip, but not cliche. Staying true to yourself though at the same time. Don't make up something that you really wouldn't actually care about, really wouldn't talk about, or anything like that. Stay true to yourself, and that will like carry you through the whole time. So yeah, that's all I have to say.
Fantastic, Lily. Jasmeen?
Hi everyone, I'm Jasmeen. I am a fourth year mathematics student here at Edinburgh. I actually did a digital marketing internship, even though I'm a maths student, but I'll get into that later. So I interned with a company called Catalyst, which is a geoscience company based in Canada. But obviously because of COVID, it was virtual. My role at the company was to carry out the typical social media marketing daily activities, and long term I had to build a new social media marketing strategy, execute it and report on it specifically for a new product that they were launching. So I think I had quite a unique experience in that I am a maths student, but I realized quite late into the degree that I wanted a career in something a bit more creative and more people oriented. So that's when I decided that I wanted to pivot to a sort of marketing field. And I wasn't having that much luck in applying to normal internships because I had zero experience, no education, no like solid background in marketing, but I knew that I was quite passionate about it and that I thought that I would be quite good at it. So when I first found out about Saltire and the scholarship program, I thought it was the perfect thing for me to go for and a really good chance for me to make that pivot because they do have such a holistic approach to recruitment. So I focused more on the skills that I have built, the transferable skills from my degree and all of my personal experiences to build out my application. And I think the Saltire team really saw that I did have potential within a marketing role. So they gave me a chance, which was really special because considering I didn't have any solid experience in marketing at all. So once I got recruited for this internship, I was really, really pleased to finally have some actual experience on my CV that's within the field that I want to go into. As for the internship itself, it was also just a really amazing experience. I spent 12 weeks with the company, and one thing that really surprised me about the internship experience was that they gave me a lot of freedom and responsibility, which was quite scary, but ultimately gave me a lot of confidence in the end, just knowing that they had the confidence in me to just kind of figure it out myself. But they didn't kind of just leave me alone. Like they also held my hand quite a lot and answered all the questions that I had. But yeah, from the very beginning, they let me contact anyone in the company. They let me come up with my own ideas and obviously would give me feedback all throughout so that I wasn't completely in the dark. But they really did have a lot of confidence in me from the very beginning, which was really nice, especially considering it was my first actual marketing experience. Myself and another intern who was also in a similar role at the same company as me, we both got offered permanent jobs at the end of our internship. So that's a really great opportunity and a potential opportunity if you get onto a Saltire internship. I think I met quite a few people who were offered full-time or part-time permanent jobs at the end of it, which is obviously an amazing thing to put down on your CV and just an amazing thing to have in general. But yeah, moving on to like my top tips. I kind of already touched on this and it's already been said, but really want to emphasize that the Saltire team really do have a holistic view over their applicants. Particularly with my story of not having actual marketing experience, but having a lot of qualities that I could draw out and skills that I could draw out from everything from my maths degree to whatever extracurricular things that I do in my spare time. I think they could really see that. So they really pushed me to keep trying for the marketing roles. And my other tip is something that I actually had to be told and implemented in real time during the CV stage of applying to each particular internship. I was told that I had to tailor my CV and cover letter more to each company, that I wasn't tailoring it specifically enough at the start. And so once I started specifically adding things about each company into those applications, that's when I started to see more success with the interviews and getting recruited. So yeah, that is everything.
Thanks, Yasmin. Joanna?
Hi, so I'm Joanna Hall and I'm a fourth year international business student at Edinburgh. This summer, I had the privilege of working as a marketing and social media intern with Onward Consulting. They are a consultancy providing personnel, auditing, and support services to the oil and gas industry. For my application to Onward, we had an online interview, which is pretty standard. But because this was a creative role, we were also asked to design a social media graphic and kind of compete with the other candidates based on that as well. So yeah, just letting you guys know that the host company may kind of have a creative way of doing their application process, and they may kind of do something that's not very conventional. Due to obviously COVID restrictions, my internship was virtual. However, I still gained a great international experience and working across cultures, as the company was based in Houston, Texas. It also really helped with my flexibility skills, as there was a 6-hour time difference that we had to factor in. My internship also allowed me to gain some really practical and beneficial technical skills in the marketing sector, which is where I hope to have a future career. And this was mainly within strategy, search engine optimization, social media, and branding. However, we also got to do some recruitment and screening applicant CVs, and also some project management. So this was actually beyond the initial role description. And so it was great for them to kind of see potential in us and give us new opportunities and get to try different sides of the business. As well as gaining these professional skills, I was also able to really advance my personal qualities, particularly with networking, communication, and resilience. And also, because the company was so small, I was lucky enough to get to present and meet senior executives within the company, to interview quite a lot of their employees, and also to interview the president of the company as well. So that was a really amazing experience. And the company was very people-oriented in terms of their culture. And it was great to get these insights into different people and functions throughout the business. So yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed my time with Onward, and I was really able to grow as a marketer and also just as a person in general. So for my top tips, firstly, I would say don't be afraid to be creative. There's lots of opportunities to show your personality throughout the application, and particularly with media or marketing or more creative roles, as you know, they would love to kind of see your own flair to your CV and your cover letter, and to show your personality through there. And also the Saltire team can see like the creativity that you could have in your interview and with some of the examples you come up with there as well. Secondly, I would say to be curious. Don't be afraid to ask lots of questions, and keep your mind open to doing things within your internship that you never thought you would be doing. And because some of these experiences that I had were really, really beneficial to me. And finally, I would say any experience is good experience. Lots of people I spoke to were kind of worried when they applied that they didn't have enough formal experience, like past internships or jobs. But honestly, any experience that you have is really valuable. You know, like anything you've done throughout school or university, like sports teams, volunteering, coaching, anything like that can still be used, as long as you're demonstrating the skills that you have boosted throughout that process. So that's me, done.
Thanks, Joanna. Katherine?
Hi, yeah, so I'm Katherine, and over the summer I did a 10-week internship. I was a marketing project management trainee at Edinburgh Life Sciences, which is a global health-based company. I was working in the Europe, Middle East, and North Africa region, and the headquarters for that were in Switzerland. But because of the pandemic, I had to work virtually from home. So at Edinburgh, I'm a 4th-year business management student, which was quite transferable to my internship. I covered quite a lot of different group projects that had aspects of project management, so it was quite familiar to me. But yeah, it was, even though it was virtual, I still got that global perspective. I was working with so many different cultures. I worked very heavily with the Middle East and North Africa, and that was great to speak to people from Saudi Arabia, Dubai, Israel, places like that. It was great to gain those different perspectives, and they wouldn't be people that I would speak to every day. So that was really interesting. I also got the opportunity to work with other regions. So I worked quite closely with the Central European region, mainly being like France, Germany, that UK as well, and then also the American region, and the headquarters for Edwards Life Sciences are actually in Irvine, California. So it was great to meet people from there as well. But hopefully this year there will be more in-person internships and you'll have the opportunity to travel to these cool places. So as part of my internship, I drove key strategic projects for the region, specifically for the marketing function. The marketing function for my region was relatively new. I think it only really started 2 years before, so it was still growing. So I was just helping expand some of the current processes, streamlining the processes and making them more efficient. I specifically focused on the event management process. Being a health-based company, in order to promote their products to their clients, they attended a lot of different global and regional events, such as the Saudi Heart Association annual event. We also did a lot of webinars and information sessions for our clients at the hospital, so doctors, etc. So it was really important that we had a streamlined and efficient event management process so that we could attend these events and that we could beat our competitors to the market and just really entice the clients. My favourite project that I did would have been where I mapped out all the different events for the whole region. And this was really exciting because I got to speak to so many different people. I got to speak to people from, Switzerland region, or people in Dubai, as we all kind of had different events. But my projects actually ended sooner than expected. So I then got to pick up some extra projects and I got to work really closely with the regulations team. As it's medical, there'd be a lot of medical regulations and you really have to obey them carefully. So that was really interesting because that was something I've never done before. So it was great to learn that new experience. But yeah, just to really summarize my experience, I got to collaborate with people from all over the world, and the experience just really developed me both personally and professionally. Like Lily said, it's just a massive confidence boost, and yeah, I would encourage anyone to apply. So my top tips for application would be, first of all, to be open-minded. There'll be a lot of companies on the internship list that you've maybe not heard of before, or a lot of positions that you've maybe not considered for yourself, but there's so many amazing opportunities. So I would just say be open-minded when you do see these lists, because there might be a position that's actually perfect for you, you've just not considered it. Second of all, I'd say make sure you have that passion for Scotland. It's really important that you share Entrepreneurial Scotland's values. So just really showcase that passion and make sure you show it. And thirdly, just be yourself. I think that's all you can do, and it will carry yourself a long way. You just be true to yourself, who you are and what your passions are. And that's me.
Thanks, Katherine. So this is it's me then. As I've already mentioned, I am a 5th year chemical engineering student, and over the summer I had the opportunity to intern at Suncor Energy. It is one of the biggest energy company headquartered in Calgary, Alberta, in Canada, and the internship was virtual because of COVID. So during my internship, I'll sort of explain it, and like I had the opportunity to network with the senior stakeholders of the company, as well as I was working on some of the individual projects. So for my individual projects, I was working on the net asset value analysis of share prices of the company against the peers in oil and gas sector. I worked on the ratio analysis and financial analysis to improve the share buyback for the company, and to sort of come up with the ways in which the share prices could be improved in the future. And in terms of networking, honestly, I think I had the best experience because it is, like I mentioned, it is one of the biggest oil and gas company in Canada. But I had the unique experience of networking with the key stakeholders of the company. Like for 2 days, I was given once in a lifetime opportunity to shadow Alistair Cohen, who's the CFO of Suncor Energy, and also the vice president of the company himself, took the time to have one-to-one conversation with me. So it truly shows that the Saltire program is a very like unique opportunity to network with like people across different breadth with different breadth of experiences, and sort of learn as you are working during your internship period. And so what I've learned from those individual interaction was that the key skills of a potentially the key skills to become good at leadership is to know how exactly to interact in a significant efficient manner across all the employee across the company, and also to be committed to the laid out tasks. And also everybody treated me honestly really good, given that I had no experience of working with the senior members before. Everybody, my opinions were valued at every stage of the project. And no, I have not heard anybody else having this experience of having the opportunity to network with the key stakeholders at the early stages of the career. So I definitely think that Saltire internship program is unique in that sense. And also, I was given the opportunity to sit on the panels where they were discussing about the acquisition of buying renewable sources. Obviously, Suncor Energy is oil and gas sector company, but obviously because of change of policies, every company wants to move into the renewable sector. So I had the unique experience of got given the opportunity to sit in those panels where my opinions mattered, even though they weren't as highly analyzed as other colleagues. But I'm pretty sure whatever I said, that everything was took into consideration, and I was given regular feedback. And during my 10 weeks period, I was sending my regular updates to the CFO of the company every fortnight. So that's honestly the best experience, where you can just gain so much experience from the key stakeholders. They don't have time. So I think that was the best part of this online internship, that it made it easier to have to be able to network with those people and to learn from them. And they were very keen to listen to me, like from the who's just starting off in their career. And so I am still in touch with them, which is a fantastic thing, and they are very happy to mentor me in the future as well. So in terms of mentorship, I think I've gained key mentors from this experience. So I'll definitely think that this internship opportunity is very unique, and everybody should give it a go. So in terms of tips, so during my application stage, I had a very unique experience as I applied to the Saltire internship in 2019, and I was going to intern with Barclays in 2020. But unfortunately, due to COVID, my internship got cancelled, and I had to reapply from the beginning again for 2020, for the 2021 cohort. So I'll definitely say be resilient. I know the application procedure is spread across the year, but it's definitely worth it. And while applying for the application, make sure that you focus on your transferable skills rather than your degree. I think, as Jasmeen mentioned, that she wasn't from marketing. She wasn't studying marketing, as I wasn't studying finance, but still we managed to find experience based on our skills rather than our education in that particular area. And definitely give it a go. Please don't feel that probably it's too difficult, or probably your skills don't match the potential that Saltire program is seeking for. We've all been in that situation. We might have felt the same, but definitely it's worth giving a try and give your best in your application. So now Lily will go over the eligibility criteria for this year.
Yeah, so just to quickly add, this year they've decided they change it every year. So they have meetings every year to decide, this is with the university to decide how they want to, who can apply, etc. So this year it's only available to people who are part of Edinburgh's widening participation scheme. Depending on what year you're in, you also may be unaware that you're even eligible for the scheme. So it's worth getting in touch with student support or your personal tutor to find out. But like I said, this changes every year. So if this doesn't apply to you this year, next year it'll change. For us, this wasn't the case. It's definitely worth keeping note of. But yeah, this year it's just widening participation. If you're unsure if you're within that scheme or not, definitely reach out to either your subject student support or your personal tutor to find out.
Fantastic. And while once you've reached the candidate pool, our university students can only apply for international and virtual internship roles only. So Saltire programs have internship programs for UK, Scotland, European companies and internationally. But for this year, we can only apply for international and virtual roles. I hope everyone is clear on that. And if you have any questions, please feel free to drop them in the chat box. We'll go over the questions now, actually, because that's the end of the slide. And please let us know if you have any questions now.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Jasmeen, for a really insightful talk. It's a shame that the applications aren't open to everyone this year, but I guess it increases some people's opportunities. So it's exciting to see what happens next with the Saltire Scholars program. I actually had a quick question, quickly. I think it's for Yasmin. So you mentioned some people got offers, but you were working at an international company abroad. I think it was in Belgium. How does it work if you get a full-time offer, like post-on graduation? Do they help you, sponsor you for visas, etc.? Or are you expected to qualify on your own terms and your own grounds, really?
The company was actually based in Canada,
Okay.
but I guess it's the same sort of question anyways. But it was going to continue to be a virtual part-time role, obviously, because we take the internship the summer before our final year. We're all still at university. So it would have just been a part-time online thing where we just continued with the role that we were doing over the summer. Unfortunately, I couldn't take it because I don't have the time, but the intern who did it with me has taken the role. So he's just doing it online as we were during the summer. In terms of being sponsored and once we graduate, getting to actually go there in person, I am not sure. I don't know if anyone has had an opportunity like that, but potentially.
I can butt in if that's all right, because I actually do know some people who have had that situation, and from different companies, and it's varied per company. So I'm guessing the hosts do it differently depending on who it is. I know people who have been offered roles, they've been said to come back after a year, so do their final year, and then they've been offered like a graduate role as well. And then they've been offered to help financially with finding a place in, so this is Belgium, finding a place in Belgium and like getting yourself over there. I don't know the specifics of like visas and things like that, but I'm guessing if the company wants to relocate you, they'll help you do that. But also we're still in a time where sort of virtual working is very much a possibility. So I know that she's doing it a year virtual and then possibly going out there, if that helps.
Yeah, no, that helps. Thank you so much, Lily. I think you're hitting the nail on the head. It's quite difficult to tell what's going ahead and what's not going ahead this year, as it was last year. So yeah, it's just nice to know that there is some offerings if you do want the offer of moving out there and you proceed with the program. Grand. Jasmeen, were there any other questions you had for everyone speaking today, or?
So I had a quick question. So I particularly was interested, how was scholars' experience of working online, given that we've never done that before?
I
Yeah.
can go, sure. I found it difficult at first, to be honest. We'd obviously been doing uni online for that year as well. But for me, joining such a big company, obviously people have different experiences if they're in a smaller company, but very much at the beginning felt like a small drop in the ocean. And I was like, oh my God, no one's going to even know who I am, like anything like that. But my team was so nice in like making me feel welcome and introducing me to other people and inviting me to meetings that weren't necessarily part of my role, so I could meet other people and things like that. So I very quickly got to network virtually. I also found like creating a routine is like the main thing, like not just like rolling out of bed, turning on your laptop and like doing everything in your dressing gown, because otherwise you just like will drive yourself insane basically. So like remembering to like get out at lunchtimes, and like you are allowed your full lunchtime, so like take advantage of it. Don't just be at your laptop for longer, you know, like go outside, have lunch, that sort of thing. Routine definitely would recommend.
Okay, and does anybody wants to jump in?
Yeah, I had quite a similar situation to Lily. I was also part of, you know, a really big global company. So when I joined, it was really strange being virtual. Like I wasn't really sure what, it was just weird, you know, you to get like your first interaction with people are online and you feel so irrelevant. But my boss was really good. He sent me this massive list of people in my region and in other regions that I could reach out to. So I just had lots of meetings and people got familiar with me, and it was like people then would start like messaging me on Teams, and it was much less like formal. It just felt like much more like being part of the team. But the other thing that was tricky about the virtual was trying to get that like work-life balance. Like you knew you could take an hour for lunch, but it was kind of like, when can I go for lunch? And what if people message me when I'm on my lunch? And then even though I had a finishing time, I was like, what if someone messages me? So it was kind of weird at first trying to get that balance, but I soon realized that it was fine. Like I could have my own routine and I was allowed to do it. And yeah, even though it was virtual, by the end of it, I literally felt like part of the family, and I've made so many good connections, and it was really nice. Like when I left, they were like, the door will always be open for you here. Just get in touch if you want to come back. So it was a really nice family experience.
Oh, that's amazing. I think for me, it was just the time difference. I remember that, like, obviously my manager, she was so nice. Like she'd make sure that she send me all the work online, like about 7 p.m. and so that I could work on it like the next morning. But there were some meetings which were necessary to attend, but obviously they made sure like they just made it flexible for me, like I can either attend or not, like it was entirely up to me. But like there were some meetings which would like be like which would like start at 10 p.m. our time, but it was about like afternoon time in Calgary. So obviously they were very kind. Okay, it's up to you if you wanted to come and join in or not, but I still wanted to go. But it was just weird adjusting to that lifestyle when like you're just working, like it's important to join that meeting at 10 p.m. and then you're just finishing at 12, sometime 1 in the morning. So that was pretty different experience, I reckon. So yeah, the other question I had in mind was how was everyone's experiences in like working in different culture? Because did you find any difference between UK way of working and Canadian or American way of working? Who wants to jump in on that?
Yeah, I can go. So I had quite a lot of different cultures. So at first it was a little bit challenging. So obviously the headquarters where I was based was in Switzerland. So that was, you know, that's very similar to our culture in the UK. But I was dealing a lot with the Middle East. So you've got like Dubai, Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, places like that. And they have an extremely different working culture to us. They're very like to the point, very formal. I'm not like, you know, I'm kind of used to having a wee chat at the start, but they want to go straight, you know, they're so busy people. So it took some getting used to, and sometimes I was like, oh my God, there's like, I feel like I'm like wasting their time. But there's like, it's just getting used to the different culture. And that's the same with like I was working with people from Russia and Turkey again and Israel. They're all such different cultures, and it was so interesting to get to work with that many different cultures and learn the different working styles.
Yeah.
I feel like you had it with so many different people. I found the same thing with people who were from Belgium, not to generalize at all, but they're very like straight to the point, like not like kind of British where we're like talking about your day and your pets and like all that sort of stuff. They were very much like, okay, we are here to, this is the meeting, blah, blah, blah. And at first I was like, oh my God, do they just all hate me? But then it just ended up like, that's just who they were. And also they did open up like after like in time and things, but like they just have a different way of working, and it's something like it's a bit strange to get used to, but by the end like you're able to have chats. Also the Euros was on whilst we were working, so we had that like to chat about the football until it ended, which was nice.
Amazing. Jasmeen and Joanna, do you want to add anything on that?
I would say in my experience culturally we were actually very similar. And the vice president of the company was actually, she's from Scotland. She's from like somewhere near Edinburgh as well. So we could talk about that quite a lot as well. But yeah, she was a Saltire Scholar when she was younger in one of the first years that they ran the program. And so that's why she was taking on 2 scholars to kind of give back. But yeah, I mean, the culture was very similar to us, and we all got on really well and had a bit of similarity with Scotland as well. So yeah.
Fantastic. I think in my experience, what I've learned is that they start working quite early. So everybody would start to work by 7:30 a.m. in the morning, and I never could understand that. And obviously their time. So it would be about like afternoon time, like Scottish time. But like everybody would start working literally 7:30 a.m. till 4 p.m. their like Canadian time, which I found like to be very strange, because like here nobody starts till 9 a.m. Probably some companies do. I don't know, but that was pretty.
Yeah, that's so early.
Yeah, especially I'm a night owl. I don't know.
Yeah, just to jump in on that point, that's like getting used to different working hours. So like in Israel, for example, they work a Sunday, their weekends are Friday and Saturday. So it was so strange at first, like I was receiving all these emails on a Sunday and I was like, oh my God, am I expected to reply to these today? And then like I'd be sending them emails on a Friday, and yeah, it got some getting used to, but then when I worked that out, I was like, oh, it makes sense now. And then also like I was there over like EID, so there was a lot of people on holiday, and yeah, it was just really interesting to learn all these different things.
Fantastic. Do we have any question from the members?
It's always that awkward silence, Jasmeen, as you know,
Yeah.
some of our events when people
You have to give people enough time to type as well, just in case. So there's like the awkward.
No, I'm just saying because I couldn't see any tab box here, so I'm just trying to make sure I'm not.
Jasmeen, would you mind putting this link up in the group chat just so people have access to it? Can you just copy and paste it in? I don't know if you're.
I will do now.
You're able to. But I think that'd be quite nice. Obviously,
we have one. Feel free to pop in a question.
And yeah, and also can you put? I need to put the email for.
Hi, so it's just easier. So may I ask, how long do we have to fill that form? Because you mentioned we can have a look at the questions and then just to get back. So do we have like a time so we have to complete them, or we can complete them all the time?
I can go, yeah. So the application form at the beginning, you have until the 10th of November. You can, what I found best to do was write my answers on a Word document and then like paste them in like at the end, if that makes sense, because you can just work on it and come back to it and work on it and come back to it. But it doesn't have to be like once you open the form, you fill it out in 30 minutes or anything like that. You can do it up until 10th of November, and then that's when they all you can submit and they'll go through. If that answers your question. Cool.
Perfect. If there's any other questions, come on now. It might be easier than just typing it up. If not, we'll put the slides up, if that's all right, Jasmeen, in like our members area, like our shared Google Drive. I'm guessing I'll put you down as the point of contact if people have questions. Yeah.
We can put LinkedIn's in or anything if people fancy as well, if they want to message, or like Facebook or something.
Sure, if Jasmeen wants to just collect those in and I'll put them onto the slides afterwards. That'd be absolutely great.
Am I on mute? No, sorry. I can just put my LinkedIn into the chat, and if anyone has questions, just feel to connect and message me. Sorry, Thomas.
Absolutely fine. Someone had to do it today. All right. Thank you so much. I think that's all the questions answered. I think anyone else is wanting to put a microphone on. But thank you to all of you guys for coming and speaking today about your experiences. It's actually really interesting. I didn't even know the program ran like this. I thought the program was just with Entrepreneurial Scotland, but I didn't realize you had access to all these different internships at these different companies, which is really, really cool. So yeah, thank you all for joining us. If you're watching back online, feel free to pop along to our next session or reach out to anyone here if you want to find out a little bit more information about the program. But otherwise, I'll let you all get back to your Tuesday evenings. To members, we're hosting an event on an introduction to our SEND series after this. So if you want to stick around, we're going to get going in about 5 minutes time. But otherwise, Jasmeen, thank you once again. Catherine, Lily, Yasmin, Joanna, I think someone had to pop off already. But thank you all for coming. Yeah, and we'll catch up with you soon. Thank you.
Thanks, Thomas, for
you.
letting us speak today. It was fantastic. Thank you.
Yeah, cheers.
Thank you. Bye, guys.
Bye.